destination is not reachable fast.
Hey, this is Jarret from fakeshemp.net, and this is the February collection update, coming rather late in that it's the 31st of March today. And I could give you a variety of excuses, but rather than bore you with those, I'll just let you know that the March collection update will be due in late August, early September. But no, I'm just kidding, that will come mid-April. So yeah, as I said, rather than bore you with excuses, let's get right into it. And first up, I've got two releases from the United States. The first one's Highway to Hell, which has been released in the US through Kino Lorber, who have licensed it from MGM. This little gem was made back in '88, but wasn't released until 1991. And it's a very tongue-in-cheek horror film, almost bordering on sci-fi at times. And it's, it's a bit of a homage at times to Mad Max even. Cool little film, and Kino Lorber have done a great job with this particular Blu-ray. The transfer is fantastic. In addition to that, there's some extra feature content and audio commentary with the director, interview with the special effects makeup artist Steve Johnson. This was the first film he worked on as sort of an independent artist with his own company, This and Night of the Demons, back in '88. And yeah, it's quite a fascinating watch, hearing him talk about the films that he worked on throughout the '80s, things that he worked on with, Rick Baker and Rob Bottin, right down to his real disliking for Ben Stiller and thinking that he was a non-talent when he actually is in this film and ad-libbed a lot of his lines, and Steve Johnson seemed to think he wasn't particularly funny and thought he'd never go anywhere, and seemingly still doesn't have a high opinion of him either, which is odd. I mean, I fucking love Ben Stiller, so fuck you, Steve Johnson. Anyway, in addition to that, there's some animated montage of images. Haven't looked at that in the original theatrical trailer, but a pretty cool release, and it's actually got a reversible slick inside too, if I can get that open. I think the cover art that's inside may have been the artwork they used for the US video release. I've got a feeling the Australian video art was quite different. I can't remember now. But Highway to Hell. Next one up is an odd duck indeed. It's Sonny Boy, which has been released through Scream Factory. It's one of those kind of films that I've been wanting to watch for about a decade, but haven't had a way to see it. I think MGM put it out on one of those MOD DVDs, made on demand DVD releases. But yeah, I just didn't catch up until now with it. Did pick it up secondhand through Second Spin and picked it up relatively cheaply. If you've ever wanted to see David Carradine in drag, then this is the movie. He is in drag in the entire film, and it's a very odd little movie. I can't say that I loved it. I enjoyed watching it, but it's a film that I'm definitely trading off. Won't be putting this one in the collection. Scream Factory's done some commentary tracks, and it's got the trailer on there. Sonny Boy, very strange film. Yeah, it's one I remember when it came out on video in the early 90s through first release, and for whatever reason, I don't know why I never picked it up. I'm not sure. I can't, yeah. But anyway, as I said, finally got to see it, and it wasn't bad, it wasn't great either. Next one up is the Arrow UK release of The Mutilator, which I believe is exactly the same as their release that they put out in the US. The film itself's not great. I hadn't seen this since the Palace home video release back in the mid-80s, I think it was. But yeah, I don't know. I after watching Blood Rage recently, Arrow's release of Blood Rage, I was kind of pumped for this, and it didn't really deliver. Like it's an okay slasher. It's very low budgeted. The acting is atrocious, but that doesn't matter. I mean, I guess the biggest disappointment was really the kills. They were really uninspired. I was just underwhelmed with it generally. That said, I'm definitely holding on to it because I will rewatch this, and there is an abundance of special features, including a feature-length documentary with some of the key cast and, of course, the director himself, Buddy Cooper, I think it is. And there's a heap more things on there in addition to that feature-length documentary. But The Mutilator, I think actually it is a 2-disc or 3-disc set? I think it's a 2-disc set, but it's quite nice, and it's got a booklet, and it's actually got a fold-out poster as well. Moving on to this little stunner, Dario Argento's Deep Red, Profondo Rosso, has been re-released on Blu-ray in the UK through Arrow in this rather spectacular 2-disc Blu-ray that comes with the soundtrack, the Goblin soundtrack to the film. In addition to that, it's got a rather large booklet and poster. I'm sure everybody on YouTube's shown this off. This is another one of the Arrow releases, limited edition releases, that went out of print before it actually physically got released. So I was very happy that I managed to secure this on pre-order early in the piece. I had a look at, watched the 4K or the mastered in 4K transfer, I should say, because it's down converted obviously to 1080p, and it's stunning. It's the best the film's ever looked, and I think there's 2 or 3 versions of the film. I know that there's the one that I watched was the most complete version of the film, which is the original Italian version of the film, but with the English dialogue restored to the portions that they have English dialogue for, and then the parts that are in Italian that they've lost the English track for, that was subtitled into English. Which is odd hearing David Hemmings dubbed into Italian. But I mean, that's the way we've seen it on the Anchor Bay DVD and even the local Umbrella DVD, Blu-ray, which I've held on to because it's got the D'Argento World of Horror documentary on there, as well as Eye for Horror, which is seemingly on every Umbrella release. But yeah, the transfer is fantastic. In addition to that, it's got the international release version, which is significantly shorter. But yeah, it's a really, really nice package. And there's a very interesting documentary on here. It's unusual though. It's a visual essay, so it's basically the journalist or author or film critic talking about the film and in many different facets, not just like a production of the film, but the themes of the film, the influence of the film, things of that nature, told over everything from production stills to behind the scenes stills, theatrical posters, and a number of other things. It's just an interesting way to present a documentary, I felt. So that was quite good. But yeah, stunning package. Very happy with that one. Next up, Eli Roth's Green Inferno, which I wasn't a massive fan of, to be honest. I saw it back at Sydney Underground Film Festival in 2014. Some time ago now. God, that was a long time ago. And it's only just surfaced on Blu-ray in Australia in February, I think it was. It came out in the US in January. That said, our release here in Australia is the most definitive release of the film anywhere in the world yet. It's got a commentary track, a couple featurettes, and I think the US release only has the commentary, whereas this seemingly has quite a bit more stuff, which is cool, and a reversible slick as well. With this art they chose to use for the US theatrical, limited theatrical. I wasn't a massive fan, but I was given this, and I actually want to revisit it. I don't think I was too harsh on my assessment the first time around, but it may be one of those films that kind of grows on you a bit more. Next up is Ridley Scott's The Martian with Matt Damon. This is a JB exclusive release. I think the only exclusive really is the foil cover, but this is the 3D SKU, so it's the 3D Blu-ray, and digital HD copy on there. It was a cool film. I'm interested to check out the extended edition, which is coming out in June. I think there's like 12 minutes of more footage added into the film and an abundance of special feature content, but I don't think it's one I'd double dip on. The Intern with Robert De Niro and Anna Kendrick, Anne Hathaway. I always get those two confused. Nancy Meyers film. I saw this at the drive-in. I fucking loved it. It's got 2 of the 3 workaholics in it. It's a lot of fun. And the chemistry between De Niro and, I was going to say Kendrick, but Anne Hathaway is great. The Intern. So the next one up is HBO release of Show Me a Hero, which is a HBO miniseries. I think it was like a 6-part HBO series, which I'm quite keen to check out. It's got one of my favourite actors in it, Oscar Isaac. Haven't had a chance to look at it yet. Then we've got the Umbrella release of Frog Dreaming. I've just reversed the slick. It's got a reverse slick, which you can't see because it's in this black case. Fantastic that Umbrella were finally able to get this out into DVD locally. It is sourced from a broadcast tape master, so it's in 4:3, but I don't know if it's pan and scan or whether it's full frame. Does have interview footage that was taken from deleted scenes from Not Quite Hollywood along with a trailer, but it's just good to have it on DVD, and hopefully down the track they'll be able to access a film print of it and release it on Blu-ray. But Frog Dreaming. Next one up is the Monster Pictures release of Bound to Vengeance, which was one of my favourite genre films of last year. Played at Monster Fest 2015. It's not really a rape revenge film so much as, I guess, kind of like a torture revenge film. Some of the girls in it had been raped, but none of the stuff is really seen on screen. There's flashbacks, but they're very brief. And the revenge element is the strongest element of all. It pretty much turns into a revenge film within the first 5 minutes. But it's a solid film, Bound to Vengeance. I loved it. Solid movie. Check it out. Next one up is Guillermo del Toro's Crimson Peak, which is a film that I was super hyped for. The trailers were fantastic. The teaser artwork was terrific. And I think it's a good film. I just don't think it's a great film. And I think maybe that was because the marketing misled me into believing it was going to be a ghost story. And it really wasn't. It was more a thriller with a ghost element to it. But in terms of production, design, performance, just beautiful. It was a very good film. I just won't say great. I really want to check out the special feature content on here because apparently the commentary track Guillermo del Toro does address the fact that he felt that the Studio Universal's marketing was off in the way they chose to promote the film. Crimson Peak. Next one up is the Aussie film The Dressmaker from acclaimed Australian director Jocelyn Moorhouse, I think it is, who directed Proof. I can't remember what the other film she directed was. It's eluding me. But anyway, Dressmaker, this was great. This is another revenge movie, essentially. It's quite dark in its tone, but funny. Very, very funny. Also, Judy Davis in there, and Hugo Weaving, and Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth or Liam Hemsworth? Liam Hemsworth, I get the two confused. But yeah, definitely worth a watch, cool film. Next one up is a television miniseries that's screened here in Australia on Channel 7, I think it was. Yes, was it 7? Yeah, I think it was 7. Molly, which I didn't get to check out on broadcast, but I checked it out on Blu-ray, and it was fantastic. I mean, the production values do dictate that it is definitely a miniseries, but at times it was very cinematic, and old mate Samuel Johnson's performance as Molly Meldrum was phenomenal. It was such an engaging, really, really engaging miniseries, and I can't wait to watch it again. In all honesty, it was fantastic, and the music was terrific. I mean, it was made in cooperation with Mushroom Pictures, so they had license to use pretty much all the Mushroom catalogue. Really, really, really good. Thoroughly recommended. Next one up. I'm not sure if I showed this in the last update or not. I don't think so, though, because I'm pretty sure this came out in February, and that's Stephen King's Bag of Bones, a mini-series that's finally found its way on DVD locally. It was released in the US back in, I think 2012 or 2013. Pierce Brosnan in the lead, and for the most part, it's a good watch. I didn't love it, but I did enjoy it, and it's directed by Mick Garris, who's obviously adapted a few Stephen King stories over time for TV and for the cinema, for theatrical. I don't know where I was going with that. Next up are a bunch of rentals that I picked up through my good friend Glenn, and pretty much he gave me 10 for, I think it was I can't remember now. I think he may have actually given me these. I think he gave me these 10 for free. And the next time I came back, it was 10 for 5, so it was 50 cents a title. So this super generous friend of mine and compere on fakeshemp.net, this is what I grabbed from him. Anatomy, the German horror thriller, which I'm really excited about checking out again because I haven't seen it since it first came out on DVD. Then Anatomy 2, which I've actually never seen, so I'm quite keen to check that one out as well. Anatomy, the first one, does have an English dub track, as well as the original German language track with English subtitles, whereas Anatomy 2 only has the German language track. I don't want to sound racist or anything, but I find that the German dialect, when people are actually speaking German, I find it a really irritating language, and I apologize if there's anyone that's from Germany or that is German that's watching this. So I probably would prefer to watch it with an English dialogue track, which is awful because I like to watch foreign films generally in their native language with English subtitle. But yeah, no, I will definitely watch this, and I don't know why that is. My wife doesn't like South African accents, apparently. I guess everyone's kind of got their thing. Next one is The 13th Floor, which I'm pretty sure Sean had said on the podcast, or not necessarily on the podcast, but on one of the podcast nights to me that this film was shit. No, I hadn't seen it since it first came out on DVD. I'm sure he said that. I don't want to say that he said it and he didn't say it, but I have a feeling he said it. Anyway, I've been keen to check it out because I really enjoyed it when I saw it on DVD when it first came out. It's produced by Roland Emmerich. Is it directed by Dean Devlin? I can't tell because this video store sticker is covering up where the director's name is, unless it's somewhere on the front. No, just Roland Emmerich Presents. Really eager to check that one out again. Next one is one I'm stoked to get on Blu-ray, Hot Tub Time Machine 2. I didn't love Hot Tub Time Machine 2. I enjoyed it. It's nowhere near as good as the first film, but it does have two cuts, a theatrical and an extended. And the extended is the better of the two cuts because it's actually got John Cusack in it. He's not in the theatrical, which is really odd. I mean, they didn't get him back obviously for the whole film, but they got him up for a cameo, and it's a pretty significant cameo, I feel. But Hot Top Time Machine too. It's super lowbrow, juvenile whereas the first kind of it had a certain respectability to it. This one just completely goes dumb, but does it well enough. Next one up is Club Paradise. Ivan Reitman film from the mid-'80s with Peter O'Toole and Robin Williams. Sorry, did I say Ivan Reitman? I meant Harold Ramis. Sorry, rest in peace, Harold. It's definitely not one of his best films, but it's a fun film, and I think that's it. I've got such a nostalgic connection to this film, having watched this film growing up on video and on TV. That's the reason that it's going in the collection. It's nostalgia more than anything else, because as I said, it's not a fantastic film, but it's fun. And Jimmy Cliff is in this. Jimmy Cliff performs quite a few. I think Jimmy Cliff performs songs in this from memory. God, I'm pretty sure that's the case. Anyway, God, I was going to keep going. I'm digging graves. Critters 3 I don't have on DVD. I've got Critters 1 and 2, but I don't have Critters 3, so needed to add that to collection, considering it's got Academy Award-winning actor Leonardo DiCaprio in it in his film debut. So moving on to Critters 4, which I'm not 100% convinced I have seen, which is odd because I watched everything I can that's genre ever since I was a kid. It seemed odd that I haven't seen it. I've got a feeling I have seen it, but anyway, I need to rewatch it, and for sake of completement, I needed to get number 4 to round out the collection. Next one up is Imprint, which is the only of the Master Horrors I don't have. I've got the Master Horrors DVD box sets, but I don't have Imprint because Imprint wasn't released in it, because Imprint didn't broadcast. I think it just got its a DVD release in the US. Subsequently, I don't have its Takashi Miike. So yeah, I actually really enjoyed this story too. I thought it was quite good. So stoked to actually add that to the collection. Next one up is a terrific film from Bryan Singer, director of such classics as X-Men, Days of Future Past. At Pupil, this is actually a really cool film and Stephen King adaptation. I don't know what else to say about the film. I'm really excited about checking it out again. I remember seeing it I'm sure I saw it on DVD when it came out, or maybe it was video. Yeah, I can't remember now. But anyway, excited to check that out again. Another Stephen King adaptation, Riding the Bullet. I think this is a mini-series from memory. I can't remember. Another Mick Garris adaptation. A lot of Stephen King adaptations and Mick Garris popping up. Riding the Bullet, I think I was a bit on the fence with this one, but I haven't seen it since, God, I think the early 2000s, whenever it was released. Mid-2000s, but it looks like 2005. So looking forward to checking that one out. And the very last one here is Jamie Blank's Australian filmmaker responsible for Urban Legend, Valentine, Storm Warning, his remake of Long Weekend, based off the same Everett DeRoche script, with Jim Caviezel and Claudia Coven. I'm looking forward to revisiting this because I saw it when it first came out on DVD, but I haven't watched it since, so I'm quite eager to give it another look. And I'm actually eager to check out this director's production diary as well. So that's the February collection update. Sorry if it was a little long-winded. I tried to get through it as fast as I could. And I will be back in late August, early September with the March collection update. Again, I guess it'll be mid-April. I'm definitely sticking to that. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you mid-April.
Question is not even response.